Money, Manning, and McConaughey. All right, all right, all right. I'm talking about the 2026 Texas Longhorns, and I'm asking the question, will they bring a national championship back to Austin for the first time in 20 years? Welcome to another college football podcast. If you love talking college football, I hope you'll subscribe and pass it along. It is free, and I do appreciate it. I have a lot of respect for Texas. They're one of the most historic college football teams of all time. I think back to the Vince Young National Championship in the Rose Bowl against Southern Cal. It was a classic. But it's been a while. Steve Sarkisian is going into season number 6, and he has 3 consecutive 10-win seasons under his belt. In 24, they went to the college football playoff, and last year they did win 10 games. But I doubt they spent $35 to $40 million on player acquisition just to land a Citrus Bowl. So, what undermined last year? Well, you had a head-scratching loss to Florida, and just to be frank, as good and as talented as Texas is, I don't care if half their team was in wheelchairs. They still should have won that ball game. And then, of course, Georgia did what they did, and it was just like, wow. So the real question going into this season is not if they have enough money or if they've recruited well enough or if they have enough famous people on the sideline. The real question is, can they stay consistent? Can they stay focused? And will they beat elite teams? Remember, you don't have to be perfect to get into the college football playoff. Now, it starts with Arch Manning. Now, this guy had so much pressure put on him, and we can talk about life not being fair, and that is fair to say. But I was saying in the preseason last year that, hey, look, this guy, no matter how well he does, it's not going to be good enough. We threw for over 3,000 yards, 26 passing touchdowns, 400 rushing yards, and 10 touchdowns on the ground. And there were still people saying, this guy is soft, he's not good enough, blah, 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 blah. But those numbers sound pretty good to me. Now, did he play perfect? No. No one does. I think he did a pretty solid job. But this year, there's a lot more expectation for him. Now, he has guys like Cam Coleman that they got out of the transfer portal, pulled that guy in. So he has him to throw to. You have Ryan Wingo, an unbelievable player. I mean, the pros are salivating over this guy. So he has the talent around him via the transfer portal, via returning from last year. And then, of course, the high school recruiting is unbelievable. Arch Manning has the capability and the tools, and I believe the support to take Texas to the college football playoff and legitimately contend. Obviously, he's the starting quarterback, so it's kind of a duh statement. But I do believe he has that capability, and that he could really etch himself in Texas football history. Let's talk about a coaching change that they had. Will Muschamp is back in Texas. He's the defensive coordinator. He's one of the highest paid coordinators in all of college football. Now, he's extremely aggressive, and the question is, will that pay off for the Texas Longhorns? I think it will. It could bite them if you get the right offensive coordinator. So that's coaching against them. So we're going to have to pay attention there. What we should do is take a look at their schedule for this year. Now, this to me, and I'm a fan of this, my philosophy on cupcake games being like your first game or first 2 games, I used to hate it. Now I appreciate it. I think if you really want to see the best out of a football team, let's go ahead and let them get their feet up under them. I mean, it makes sense to me since there's no preseason football. Do that and then play a bigger game or the bigger teams. So this year, their very first game is against Texas State. I'll take that. It's a really good warm-up on September the 5th. Next up, Ohio State. Need I say more? Now, last year, Ohio State beat them 14-7. They were the defending national champions. They have Jeremiah Smith. They have all of this talent. Both of these teams have the same financial capability. They have a lot of the same history. But this time, this game is in Austin. It's going to be a good one of the biggest games of the year. And early on, The very next week, you have UTSA coming to town. That should be a good old-fashioned butt whipping. And then you go to Knoxville, the other UT, not only in the country, but in the SEC. Now, Josh Heupel's done some really good things up in Knoxville and just made a shocking defensive coordinator change. Everyone thought he was going to stay with Banks, but he didn't. He pulled in Jim Knowles. Now, it's going to take a little bit for that defense to really grasp his play call concept. And I think that's an opportunity for Texas to go into Knoxville in an extremely hostile environment and win. On October the 3rd, they're off, and then, of course, they play a team they're no stranger to. They hate their guts, and the hate is strong on the other side. They're going to play Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. Now, last year, they got the best of the Sooners. The Sooners went on to the college football playoff. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting how this game turns out. Oklahoma's definitely improving. Then on the 17th, you have Florida with their new coaching staff and their new philosophy coming in to Austin, Texas. Now, this is going to be a good old-fashioned payback game, am I right? I mean, you can't overlook them after you did what you did last year, can you? There's no way. There shouldn't be a way. So I look for some payback there. On October the 24th, you have Ole Miss coming in. Now, I'm telling you, I'm watching Ole Miss because I think it's very interesting with what happened last year. For some of you who don't know, Lane Kiffin gave them more 10-plus win seasons in his 6 seasons there than they had in the prior 49 years combined. Really. Go to look that up. You'll be shocked. And my thought is that Ole Miss is going to figure out that Lane Kiffin was the magic. Now, I don't think you're going to overlook this football team. I hope you don't. It goes back to what I said earlier. You focused. But you should take care of them. Next up, this is a game that I would really pay attention to, and you're laughing, going, yeah, right? Yeah. What are you drinking over there? No, Mississippi State is slowly improving. Jeff Lebby is going into year 3. In his first season, they only won 2 games. The second season, they won 5 or 6. He is a good coach. That's a tough job. And this would be the type of game for you to get your mind, especially if you've done well up until this point, kind of get your mind somewhere else and say, yeah, they're Mississippi State. They're terrible. We're going to beat them like a drum. And then you lose. Again, you don't have to be perfect to make the college football playoff, but that would not look good on the resume. On November the 7th, you travel to Columbia, Missouri to play Missouri. Drinkwitz was supposed to have an off year last year, and they were still pretty doggone good. You can't get caught off guard with them. I mean, I know historically Missouri hasn't been great, but since he's been there, they've done quite well. So you have to focus there. Then you go to LSU. Lane Kiffin leading his expensive roster into their home stadium, Baton Rouge. It has to be a night game. It will be one of the biggest games of all season. This is one of those elite games. You're supposed to win. You're supposed to, with a $40 million roster and a 6th-year head coach. You play Arkansas in Austin on November the 21st. They have a new coaching staff. I don't see you having a problem with them. And then you finish off the year at Texas A&M, who just went to the college football playoff. And Mike Elko can coach. This is going to be a wild game. So, what do I think about this overall outlook for 2026? I've said it once. I've said it 3 or 4 times. Here we go again. Focus, focus, focus. You have to. Everyone knows you spend a lot of money. Everyone knows that you have the players. Everyone knows that you can go to the transfer portal or to top high school recruits and pull them into Austin. That's not a question. The question is, can your coaching staff actually coach you up? Again, Bloomington, Indiana houses the defending national champions. A team who has a coach who was just in, a Sun Belt school just a few years ago. So Texas has to win the national championship soon, right? And if they don't, Will you be calling for a coaching change? We will see. Tell me in the comments section, what's your prediction for the 2026 Texas Longhorns? Will they win a championship, or will this just be another season of we spent a lot of money, we weren't bad, but we didn't bring the trophy home? I want to know. Thank you so much for joining me. Subscribe. It is free. I do appreciate it. And I'll catch you on the next one.